I asked my community a simple question. I thought it would be a fun little thread, but I was deeply unprepared. We are going through some of what came back today, and I want to warn you that it escalates considerably as we go. And yep, I'm talking about the grossest things that you've seen on a cruise. Bad cruiser behavior. And I'm going to save the single most disgusting entry for the very end. So my friends, if you want to be grossed out, prepare yourselves and buckle up. Hi, I'm Melissa, a university professor who loves to cruise and who loves to talk ship. And I'll start with my own contribution because this is what kicked off this glorious journey of disgustingness. I just got home from Royal Caribbean Star of the Seas. It was absolutely amazing. But something happened there on our last day that made me think about the gross things that cruisers tend to do. I love cruising, I love cruisers, but man, cruisers can be pretty nasty. So if you follow me on social media, I talked about this story. Basically the last day, Bati, who's my man, and I were in our favorite place on Star of the Seas, which is Creme de la Crepe. So if you haven't sailed on Icon class ship, you're missing out. We absolutely loved it. I have a review coming up soon on Star of the Seas, a full review. So stay tuned for that coming up, probably my next episode. But anyway, they have a specialty place called Aquadome Market. In Aquadome Market, they have Creme de la Crepe, and obviously they serve crepes there. And we loved it. My man was obsessed. We ended up going there multiple times. And what I love about Royal Caribbean, and I love about all of the like kind of self-serve or kind of fast casual food options, is it's not buffets. I hate buffets. Again, cruisers be gross. I've seen enough things in my nearly 50 cruises to avoid cruise ship buffets in general. So we thought we were safe, right? So he rolls up to Creme de la Crepe. He goes up to order his crepe, and it's great because the workers, they basically prepare the crepe and then hand it to you. So you think that's pretty safe. Well, the forks, they are out in a container, and this kid walks up, grabs a fork, two of them fall out. This kid then proceeds to pick them up off of the dirty floor where lots of people out in the public have just walked with their dirty shoes and starts to insert them back into the container. Now, my man, he's a former police officer turned travel agent, and he acted with swiftness. He almost like did a slow-mo dive, like, no, and intercepted those forks and said to the kid, you know, please don't do that. And I'm glad his mom didn't go off on him because he was basically chastising a child, but ew, that would have contaminated the whole thing and people would have unwittingly been eating with dirty forks. So I thought that was pretty bad. So I put the question out to the community of, hey, what kind of gross things have you seen on a cruise? Well, let me just tell you, my story pales in comparison to a lot of the stories that I heard. This was a really fun topic and people really kind of enjoyed sharing their experiences. So I want to share with you some of the things that people shared with me. All right, Felicia B, she sets the tone. She says, the grossest thing that she saw was a lady at the buffet. It's always the buffet. That's why I don't do cruise line buffets. I don't do any buffets, but especially on a cruise ship. But anyway, she saw a lady at the buffet who, and I quote, sneezed into her hand. So I'm gonna like reenact this at you. Looked into her hand, wiped it on her leg, and then proceeded to touch every serving utensil on the buffet. That's nasty. That's nasty. She looked at what was in her hand, she processed it, and she made a choice. All right, Adam A says, a boy grabbed a chicken strip with bare hands and then put it back. Okay, I've seen that a lot. Kids tend to be the worst offenders, I think, with cruise ship buffets. It happens. His mother noticed, grabbed a different strip to throw away. The older lady walking behind them grabbed the exact strip the kid had handled. Too many people around to catch her in time. Adam, that older lady will never know. And that's actually the unsettling part about all of this. And honestly, maybe it's like, if you don't know, does it really hurt you kind of thing? Kimberly B, she was at the Celebrity Martini Bar, the one with the ice top. A cruise celebrity, but I don't know what that is. You guys gotta tell me what the Martini Bar is. It's just a bar. And she watched parents park their kid there to play in the ice and drink a soda while they socialized across the room. The child, before leaving, spent time spitting through her straw into the ice to make designs. Kimberly said she told the bartender, who defrosted and sanitized a 5-foot section of the bar. Oh, I guess Ice Bar is a bar made of ice. I did that once in Germany. I didn't know there was a cruise ship that had an ice bar. It was definitely not on Celebrity Silhouette, unless I totally missed it. But anyway, that's gross. This kid used a bar of ice as an art project and then walked away. Ew. All right, now Leah LW brings us one full circle. She writes, on MSC, a girl about 10 years old stuck her fingers into the Cool Whip container at the Crepe station. What's with the Crepe stations? But she stuck her fingers into the Cool Whip, proceeded to lick them, and then put her fingers back in. It's always kids, but not always. Not all these stories are kids. I promise you, adults are nasty too. Now, Sam B has the entry that really kind of disgusted me, broke my brain. A kid, we're still on kids, but I promise we're gonna get to adults. A kid licked the pudding spoon at the buffet. His mother saw it, took the spoon from him. Okay, this is good, okay, this is good. And she said, don't lick that. You don't know who licked it before you. And then she proceeded to put the spoon back in the pudding. That took a turn that I did not expect. Wow, she said you don't know who licked that spoon before you, and then she put it right back in. That's disgusting. All right, Sherry W. A woman got pizza, sat down, coughed, ate one slice, then got up and put the other untouched slice of pizza back at the station. Ugh. The server saw it and removed the entire tray. All right, I don't like food waste, but sometimes you need food waste. If you've touched it, I don't care if you didn't eat it, just let it go into the trash. It's whatever. All right, Loretta DF, she takes us out of the buffet. All right, it's not just the buffet. I'm a buffet hater, but gross things happen elsewhere. And there's plenty of pool gross stories too, trust me. All right, Loretta was at Chops, the specialty restaurant. We ate at Chops on Star, not once but twice. It's delicious, I love Chops. So anyway, she said she was having what she described as a lovely dinner with a beautiful family at the adjacent table. And Chops is not cheap. So this is a beautiful family. They paid to eat at Chops. And then she said the mother picked up her plate and licked it clean at Chops, the specialty restaurant. She literally licked the plate, every crumb. All right, Chops is good, but it's not that good, especially to do that in public. Maybe if you're at home, lick the plate, but don't do that in public. All right, enough about the food. I promised you hot tub grossness too. So, and by the way, I don't do cruise ship pools or hot tubs at all anymore because of stuff like this. All right, Kelly G said she saw a couple popping each other's zits in the hot tub. Ooh. Ha H was in the hot tub when a little boy next to her said, "Hey, I need to go to the bathroom." And his mother said, "Here you are, just let it go." Oh, parents, when you enable this bad behavior, it's just unacceptable. All right, Kenneth G, I think you should go by Kenny G, but Kenneth G said he watched a woman at one of the bars by the pool get her drink, sit down on the bar stool, and then proceeded to pee herself. Okay, at least she didn't pee in the pool, but is peeing outside of the pool better or worse? I don't know. But anyway, obviously it's harder to pee yourself and get away with it when you're not in the pool. A lot of people saw it, they called her on it, and then she proceeded to cuss everyone out. I think it's safe to say someone bought the drink package and overindulged. And then she proceeded to cleanse herself by hopping into the hot tub. Ugh. All right, Kristen W. She was on Star of the Seas. I love that ship. And at the Love and Marriage game, a couple admitted on stage to having been intimate in the adult hot tub during that actual sailing. Okay, it's bad enough to do it, but it's even worse to admit it in front of a big crowd of people who are also using that hot tub. That's disgusting. She said that the crowds noticeably thinned out at the hot tub for the rest of the trip. But hey, you know, Kristen, hot tubs are always a hot button issue on cruise ships because they're always super crowded, usually with disgusting people that piss themselves and kids that also piss. And, you know, I guess you traded one problem for another. So there's no crowds, but there's other things and liquids. All right, Thomas H. Someone left a situation, I think we know what that means, in the hallway of his deck, 6 doors down from his room. Huh, I guess Thomas was on the poop deck. He said that he still wonders to this day what kind of person does that. And man, the pooping yourself and peeing yourself, this was a common thread that really disturbed me. I saw a lot of comments that said this. Brittany L. said a woman on Elegant Night was in her formal gown and was just popping a squat in the hallway and taking a pee. Raishina W. watched a crew member. Okay, so it's not just cruisers, it's the crew too, but I don't know if that's a comforting thing. It's actually not. She said she saw a crew member at the fresh squeezed juice station drop 2 oranges on the floor. So she kept watching, and the next time the machine was open to add more oranges, plop, plop, in they went. Now, Raishina, good for you. She went up to the side of the station and told the employee directly and confronted the situation. I'm always proud of people that confront the gross behavior, like my man, like Raishina, because people are not gonna stop it until they feel the social pressure. But she called it out, but she said even with that, she didn't feel comfortable having fresh juice the rest of the cruise, and I do not blame her. That is a paid upcharge item, by the way, so you're paying for dirty oranges. All right, Chuck R. shares what he witnessed when a staff member was cleaning the filter screen of a chocolate fountain. All right, so if you haven't cruised for a while, I actually didn't cruise back in the days. I hear about like the midnight buffets and like how glorious they were and like the big chocolate fountains. But after reading this one, I don't think I will ever indulge in a chocolate fountain again because this one is really, really, really gross. So Chuck R. was there on a cruise when a staff member was cleaning out the filter screen. So I guess chocolate fountains have filters, which makes sense because if stuff gets in there, it can gunk it up and then the chocolate stops flowing. But it was the contents of the filter that repulsed him. And let me share with you some of the things that he observed coming out of the chocolate fountain filter. A Band-Aid, an ink pen, a fake eyelash, straws, a child's plastic spider ring, must have been Halloween, coins, and a nose ring hoop. I'm already a little bit of a germaphobe, but I gotta say, if I ever encounter a chocolate fountain again, I'm not going anywhere near it. So yeah, lots of recurring themes here. Hundreds of people commenting about things that they've seen, and the recurring threads are people pooping themselves, people peeing on themselves, or pooping or peeing on cruise ship surfaces, some questionable hot tub behavior, lots of really bad buffet behavior. And I love cruising, but man, it makes me question my choices. I'm just kidding. I'm always gonna cruise, and nasty people are everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go, you're gonna find them. And yeah, I think Chuck R's chocolate fountain story, out of all the gross stories I heard, that one definitely takes the chocolate cake. Now here's where I land on all this. Cruise lines, they do an impressive job maintaining food safety at the scale that they operate, unless it is the crew that are participating in the grossness, which we saw from Regina's situation. But the crew does work genuinely hard, and when something goes wrong, they tend to respond fast. So the weak link is almost always a passenger, but it can be crew as well. So I beg you, fellow cruisers, if you see something, say something. Don't let gross behavior go by without calling it out. It's the only way we can make people change. So let me know in the comments, what's the grossest thing that you have ever seen on a cruise? Can you top these stories from Facebook? Let me know, and let's talk ship. I always say that, but that might be an unfortunate turn of phrase on this video. Let's talk ship down in the comments.